The following PC gameplay was captured utilizing an Xbox controller as a primary control interface. This method is not suitable for majority PC gamers and is reserved only for skilled professionals. PC gamers that utilize keyboard and mouse control interface may find this content disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised. Welcome viewers, this is Winch here. This will be my first in-depth analysis, weapon analysis in Battlefield 4. We're going to start off with the MG4 support class light machine gun, and this weapon is a beast. I'm running it with a compensator, an angled grip, and sight of your choosing, but I like these tandem sights. I've switched to the Coyote later on in the footage, but for the most part holographic sight and the 2x magnifier I think gives this a good versatile combination. This loadout, this weapon, according to Simtech.com website that you can check the detailed stats of this weapon, essentially 25 max damage, minimum of 18, high rate of fire, 800 rounds per minute. If you put this weapon side by side with the M249, the two weapons are nearly identical, with the exception of the recoil, horizontal recoil, and vertical recoil. This weapon has significantly more, about 25% more vertical recoil than the M249, but has about 50% less left recoil and slightly less right recoil, or slightly more right recoil than the M249. So again, it's all kind of hearsay between the two weapons. I have not tried the M249 myself because I have not labored through the campaign yet, but all in all, statistically, these two weapons should handle very similarly. But on the battlefield, you're going to see a wide range of clips as I'll show you range scenarios where this weapon is a formidable opponent to just about any weapon on the battlefield. I try to show you a broad range of classifications and circumstances from short, medium to long range, because if there is a weapon I can endorse, it would be this one in the support class. This is by far one of the best weapons in the support class. I've played all of them. Between this and the M240 Bravo, I think those are the two stellar weapons that really distinguish themselves from the other weapons in the support class. Not that all of them are inferior to this weapon, it's just that this one seems to shine in most of all situations in comparison to other weapons, like, for example, the RPK or the QBB. Those weapons are good in certain circumstances as well, but if you want a versatile weapon, I think this one will probably take the cake, even over a slight edge over the M240 Bravo, which I've put a video out about that weapon. Encourage you to watch it as well. That weapon's got a different flavor. In this one, it does more damage, it shoots slower, whereas this one's more of a higher rate of fire, more accurate weapon, and you can go full auto with this weapon and your bullet spread stays tight. And that's really what it boils down to in this game as well. You can get bullets on target. Now in certain situations like this, if I can speak this, because I was just flying by with a seat of the pants here, I did not realize the whole team just spawned in front of me. I'm just like full auto, panic wrapping. I've got my scope zoomed in, which probably isn't a good thing to do. I just don't have time to change it. Just going full auto firing from the hip here, and as you can see, somehow I survived this onslaught. Dropped a few guys down, pulled out the pistol last second. The flares going off there in the distance. Just utter chaos there. Picked up about 1,000 points. Those are moments in Battlefield 4 that just, I mean, literally your heart's pounding. I mean, that is intense. But ask yourself in support class, what weapons other than support class can drop teams, gobs of teams like this can? Not many weapons can. If you're an assault weapon guy, which most people are, that's what I'm seeing on the battlefield is just like it was in Battlefield 3. Everybody plays assault. That's their #1 class. But those weapons have a very limited magazine capacity. When you come up on a group of guys at that kind of range, and with this type of weapon, you are able to deliver an immense amount of firepower and just basically drop a whole squad of opponents if they're not aware of your surroundings, or their surroundings, that is. So it's great for cleaning up, mopping up large groups of people. It's also great on one-on-one circumstances, which I'll show here in a moment. Basically, you can go full auto with this weapon. Now, that's not always the case you want to fire at. Burst firing is more effective at longer range, just like any weapon is. But close quarters combat, full auto with this gun is okay. You're not going to have any problems with it. Now, of course, the laser sight will help your hip fire accuracy if you need that. But you really don't need a laser sight in this weapon either. It fires pretty well from the hip in my experience. But right there, you can see me going full auto. Here I am again going full auto with a flanking shot with the guy on a boat, dropping him. Again, those bullets, once they start hitting and grabbing that target, they put them down quick. So I'm very comfortable with this weapon full auto. I think it's a very forgiving weapon in terms of its recoil. It's not nearly as aggressive as a weapon like the M240 Bravo or other support class weapons that just have that immense vertical recoil that really forces you to do some kind of counter recoil compensation. But all in all, I encourage a grip with this weapon over a bipod. In my experiences thus far in Battlefield 4, bipods really aren't nearly as necessary as they were in Battlefield 3. Don't get me wrong, they have a place, they have a time, but from my experience, if you bipod up in Battlefield 4, more often than not you're just going to be sniper bait. I really don't like the rigidity that the bipod forces you to conform to. I feel like you're giving up a lot putting a bipod on your weapon over a grip. So I think all in all I can say with quite a bit of high degree of confidence that grips rule all in this game over bipods. I'm still not quite sure which grip's best between the angled foregrip, the stubby grip, the potato grip. I mean, really, essentially half the grips are the same. We have two classifications of grips. Whether or not you were basically what it boils down to, whether or not you want to reduce your first shot recoil, or you want to reduce your hip fire. Personally, I'm not a big hip fire guy. So that's why I stick with angled foregrip and that type of classification, because I think reducing or mitigating your horizontal recoil and your vertical recoil is really ideal for this class. At least that's what works for me. Now you can see me right here with the Coyote sight and the magnifier as well. But again, coming up behind guys, full auto with this weapon, even going toe-to-toe against assault class weapons, you got a chance. You got a good chance. In previous weapons I've experienced with Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 3, but emphasis on Battlefield 4 now because that's what we're playing. In my experience, just about any assault class weapon or high rate of fire weapon, carbine, what have you, if you're in close quarters with them, you're a huge disadvantage. But this weapon, the MG4, will turn that decision. Not so much, you're not going to win it every time, but you at least have a fighting chance. Even sometimes against AEKs. It all depends on your opponent's aim. But for the moment, 800 rounds per minute, 25 damage, that's really on par with assault class weapons. So here you can see me taking on more long range type shots, dropping enemies at long range. I'll show this a few more kills with this. Burst firing is more important in these types of situations. Obviously having a magnification is very important as well. I really don't see how people can pull off long range shots with just a little red dot sight. I really think you gotta have some kind of magnification to make sure that your reticle is where you want it to be. But burst firing becomes more important in these types of situations. Obviously, I have tried a heavy barrel with these weapons. All the light machine guns with heavy barrels, from my experience, it just increases your recoil too much to where you really can't salvage your aim anymore. It really makes it difficult. You can always see me spotting enemies as well. It just helps me too with my aim to get that on target as well. But again, back to the heavy barrel, it's just not working for me with these weapons. Now, other weapons, heavy barrels are great on, but these type of weapons, you can see already there's quite a bit of vertical recoil with this weapon, even with the compensator on it. So I discourage the use of heavy barrel, although I would like to have that buff and accuracy. It's just not worth it, in my opinion, to get a 50% increase in your vertical recoil. It's just too much. Last clip here. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe. I encourage you to try this weapon and labor through support class. If you don't want to labor through it, if you just want to try it out, I encourage you to try the M249 because that's very similar to this weapon. You just have to play the campaign. If you've done that, you probably already locked the weapon. These two weapons are just so similar statistically. I think you'll see what I'm talking about here with these weapons. It's coming up behind the team right here. I mean, flanking is what it's all about with support class. Dealing with multiple enemies, shutting them down, killing the objective, taking the objective. That's what this weapon can do. Hope you guys like this video as we shut down the helicopter here. Thanks for watching.